What's up, guys? Welcome to today's video on Elvis is the Man. Now, April 6th, before I get into the video, this day, April 6th, 1972, Elvis was in Detroit, Michigan at the Olympia Stadium. Now, the crowds there were about 14,000 to 17,000 people, and Elvis performed there twice in the 50s, but 5 times in the 70s. And it was actually demolished in 1987. But this is why I bring it up. My dad, for a long time, I really believed he went to this concert. He said it was at the Olympia Stadium, and he believed it was 72. But some of the things that he was telling me about this concert didn't add up, so it made me think it was the 1970 concert. I don't think that he had it right on the year because of this fact. He says that when Elvis finished the show, he was gone and everybody was like, what happened? Where'd he go? Like, he was gone and he left the stage so fast that nobody knew where he went. They didn't even know it was over. So that type of ending was from 1970. Like, I remember from the Pittsburgh show in November that because there was an audience footage of it that we have on FTD, saying that, you know, some of the crowd was like, wait, is that it? Did he go? Are we done? So it couldn't have been 72 because in 1972, Elvis, by that time, did his cape and just circled the stage and gave everybody a final bow and a chance to look at him and get their pictures. So I think it was actually 1970, but 1972 was cool in the sense that it might have been. A few facts that he said about the show was that Elvis did a lot of slow songs, and he says that there was a bunch of, he called them older jeweled women around there. So he was only like 20 at the time. I think it was 1970. And he was only 20 at the time, so if the women were like 35, he probably would have thought they were older. Because why would there be a bunch of like 60-year-old women going to see 35-year-old Elvis, you know? Doesn't make sense. But so like, even if his fans were his age, they would only be in the 30s, so I think that's what it was. He says they were fainting all over the place, crying, and he says that Elvis was gone before you knew it. So I really think it was 1970. So I just wanted to talk about that before I get into this video, because Elvis was in Detroit, Michigan, Olympia Stadium. My dad, for a long time I thought it was 72, but it was actually 1970 I would put my money on. But anyway, here's the video that I want to bring to you.
All right, guys, so I was reading some of the book by Nancy Rooks, which was Elvis's cook/maid. She did a lot around the house. She was employed by Elvis starting in the later 60s. So I'm reading her book, Inside Graceland, and she came across a really interesting point in her story. It was the day Elvis died, and I just got done reading the book, The Death of Elvis, as you know. And it just seems like a lot of these books lately just so happens that it really deals with 1977. So that's why you see more videos like that. But anyway, when I was reading the book, Death of Elvis, it was a big question as to why the contents in the bathroom were destroyed. Like, where did they go? Who cleaned it up? And it was a big question to me. I'm like, not only who authorized it, but who did the cleaning? I mean, I assume it was probably some of the maids, but like, how did that all go down? So I finally found out yesterday, and I wanted to, make a video share with you guys today. So what happened was, we know the story that it was early afternoon, August 16th. It was a really hot summer day. Nancy says that she was the only one in the house at the time because Al Strada had gone to CBS to get Elvis something because they were just preparing for a tour. Joe Esposito, I believe, was out in Vernon's office, she said. And so she was like the only one in the house, really. And so she got a call from Ginger. She seemed really out of breath, saying, that Elvis is in trouble. Send somebody to come help him, all that stuff. So there was nobody in the house at the time. She ran upstairs to see Elvis. And she says that it was kind of weird for her because like nobody was allowed upstairs in Elvis's his room, his bathroom, his like inner sanctuary, so he didn't even lock anything. It was just a rule, do not go in my room. not necessarily his room, but in his like office and bathroom and that. So anyway, she went up there and she saw Elvis on the floor. And so she started freaking out, and she came back downstairs. And at that time, Al Strada came up, and so he goes up and checks on Elvis. She says that she actually saw Elvis come down on the stretcher, and they said it was really hard to bring Elvis down on the stretcher because they had to take him down the stairs, and it was just kind of an awkward thing for them to even get the gurney up there. Now here comes the interesting part. So Nancy says that once Elvis left the mansion onto the ambulance off to the hospital, Aunt Delta, Elvis's aunt, comes up to Nancy and takes her by the arm and says, "We got to go upstairs and clean Elvis's bathroom. In case Elvis died, we can't have anything up there if it's investigated." So Nancy just follows orders. She was like in total shock anyway. She said she didn't know if she was doing anything illegal or not. She was just following, what they wanted her to do. So they both go upstairs and they have trash bags. And Aunt Delta, according to Nancy, tells her to put all syringes, all pill bottles, anything that looks bad into the bag, throw it away. And so they scoured the whole bathroom and Elvis's bedroom, throwing away, like going through drawers, emptying everything out of drawers. They found syringes, pill bottles, aspirin bottles, just anything that did not make Elvis look good. They threw it all away. And she didn't mention this in her book, and not to get too, gross, but, Elvis vomited after he fell. And the investigators, when they came back to Elvis's bathroom, they said that had all been cleaned up. He could just tell a little bit that that's where it was because it's still kind of damp. So I'm assuming Nancy also cleaned that up as well. She says they changed Elvis's sheets, put new sheets on there, got rid of all the towels, new towels up. She says the pill bottles that they did see all had labels on them, so they were all prescribed labels. But she says, that doesn't mean he wasn't taking too many. She says they took the full garbage bags and put them in the main trash outside of Graceland. And she also mentioned that when they were up there trying to revive Elvis, also a number of pill bottles and syringes were taken from the bathroom, and they were later buried next to one of the trees in the backyard. So Elvis's people there were definitely trying to protect his image because they thought, this is it, it's over. And we need to make sure there's nothing here that investigators can find to let this, story get out. But they missed a few because some investigators found a few syringes and this and that. But that wraps up this video. I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I was finding out about that day, that eventful day. I'm actually, disappointed that, and I understand why they cleaned up after Elvis, but I wish, in a sense, they didn't, and tell me what you guys think as well, because if they wouldn't have cleaned up and if they wouldn't have scoured everything, the investigators would have had loads of evidence, and they would have been we really would have known exactly what happened, what was going on, or at least had a much clearer explanation of what could have happened. Also, another thing is Elvis's stomach contents were dumped when he was in the hospital, so that was a big part of solving the puzzle pretty much as to what killed Elvis. But you guys know I have my theory on it as well. Yeah, this is a little bit of a somber video, but I do want to share all these things that I come across with you guys, and it makes you more well-rounded Elvis fan, and it's entertaining all aspects of Elvis's life. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the like button if you have. Subscribe if you haven't already as well. And also check out in the description for my Bible page and my fitness page. I think you'll like those also. Talk to you next time.